Learn Git right now. Git is something every developer, DevOps engineers, or anyone working with code should know about. Chances are, if you don't know Git, you might not be hired because employers prefer people who have knowledge of Git and know how to work with branches, what is merge request, pull request, and everything about it. So in this video, I'm going to explain you everything you need to know about Git, how to work with GitHub, what are different Git commands, and also a hands-on practice to help you understand Git concepts very clearly. So watch this video till the end. Hey everyone, welcome to Cloudchamp. In this video, we are going to learn about Git, which is very important. In this video, I'll be explaining you what is Git, how is it different from GitHub, what are different Git commands you need to know, along with hands-on practice to demonstrate how you will be using these commands in your job. Not only this, at the end of the video, I'll be sharing with you an excellent game to practice and master your Git concepts. By the end of the video, you will have clear idea on how to push your code from your local machine to Git repositories, also how to clone your code from Git repositories in your local machine, what is branching, what is merge request, pull request, and a lot more. So watch this video till the end. Let's understand what is Git, and I'm going to explain you this in very simple terms rather than using complex words. According to definition, Git is version control system used to keep track of changes made in your code. But why is it actually called version control system? Because the main feature of Git is to manage different versions. To help you understand this, let's consider an example. You want to create an application, and for that application you have to write the code. So you wrote the code for your application, which is the first version. Now you made some changes, you have second version. After you make changes, there is third version. Git is used to manage all the different versions you have for your application. Not only this, you can also revert back to any previous version if you have any issues with the current version. So Git helps you manage different versions, also revert changes if there are any issues. Git also provides you with branching and merging system. Using branches, you can work on new feature and bug fixes independently without affecting the main code base that might be running on your application. Once you are done, you can then merge that branch into the main code base to make sure that your application is working properly with the new version of your code. Along with this, Git allows multiple developers to collaborate to a single code base, which can help for more collaboration and teamwork. Using Git, we can track, manage, and collaborate on source code very effectively. Now let's look at history of Git. Git was created in 2005 by Linus Torvalds, the same person who created Linux. So in 2005, Linus Torvalds was working on Linux and he wanted to have a version control systems to handle big Linux files. That is when he started working on Git. After initial development, Linus released Git as open source. Git became famous and everyone started using and contributing to it. Since then, every company uses Git to manage their code base, and that is why it is very important for you to understand and learn Git. If you're someone who is a DevOps engineer, you will have to understand Git because Git is used in every DevOps task. If you look at CI/CD, Git is the central component in CI/CD. Whenever the code is pushed, only then the CI/CD pipeline will run. Also, whenever you create Terraform scripts or Jenkins pipeline or Ansible playbooks, you have to push them on Git repository. So you will need to have understanding of Git. If you're someone who wants to contribute to open source, it is very crucial for you to understand Git. You cannot do open source without learning Git because contributors have to clone the projects and then make the changes and submit the pull request. So they will only be able to do that when they understand Git. There is a huge confusion among a lot of people between Git and GitHub. So some of them think that Git and GitHub is one thing, but that's not true. Let me help you understand the difference between Git and GitHub. So in simple terms, Git is this command line tool used for version control system that is in your computer, but GitHub is a web-based platform that is used to host and collaborate on Git repositories online. So it's a web-based platform, whereas Git is a CLI tool. So we use Git for version control and GitHub to host and collaborate on Git repositories. However, you should know that there are different alternatives for GitHub, such as GitLab or Bitbucket or Code Commit. So if you understand GitHub, you can also work with GitLab. You can also work with Bitbucket, but all of them will have Git as an underlying technology to work with. So you need to understand Git if you want to work with GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket or anything. In the upcoming demo, I'm going to show you how you can create Git repositories on GitHub, how you can push your code, clone the code, create branches, and a lot more. So let's start with the hands-on. Alright, so I'm here on my computer screen. Now we are going to do hands-on to understand all the different Git commands and how they are used. Along with that, I'm also going to share with you some notes to learn Git and a game to practice and understand all the Git concepts. In this hands-on, we are going to understand how you can create Git repositories on GitHub, how to clone the code from GitHub repositories to local machine, how to push your code, what is branching, how to create a new branch, push your code on your particular branch, what is merge request, pull request, and all of that. So let's get started. First thing to work with Git is to have Git installed in your laptop. So I'm using Ubuntu right now, and let me show you if Git is installed for me or not. My terminal here, this is my terminal, and if I run Git and it shows me all the different commands, which means Git is installed. You can also run Git -- version, And if it is not installed for you, you can install it from the official documentation. So I can just do git downloads, and this is the link from where you can download it if you're using Linux or Mac OS or Windows. So if you're using Windows, you can go to this website and download 64-bit or 32-bit according to your laptop. But most likely nowadays every laptop comes with Git install in it. If you're using Windows, you can install something known as Git Bash, or you can also use it in your VS Code. I'll be showing you all the things mostly in VS Code and the terminal, but you can also use and install Git Bash, which is a tool for you to work with Git on Windows. So now that is confirmed that I have Git installed, I can start with creating a repository and trying to write some code and push it on GitHub. So to create repositories on GitHub, you can use GitHub similar to GitHub or GitLab and Bitbucket. So if I go to GitLab, you have different UI, but you can create repositories similar to what you can do on GitHub. You can also use Bitbucket. Bitbucket is another tool to use your Git repositories. Along with this, you also have code commit and a lot of other tools. For this hands-on, I'm going to use GitHub, which is one of the most used platform. So right now, I'm going to click on new repositories here to create a new one. Let's name this repo as learning Git. So learning_Git is what we can name. So this name is available, which means we can use it. Let's give a description. This is my repo to learn and practice Git. Alright. Once you do this, you have two options. You can either create repository public or private. If it is public, anyone on the internet can get the code from it. If it is private, only you can define who can access it. Maybe on your own organization, people can access it. Then you have an option to add a README file. README is something which tells about what is this repository, what is the project inside this repository. So it's a good practice to add README, but I'm not going to do that. And if you see here, there's something more named as .gitignore. So whichever file you don't want the Git to handle is what you will insert in .gitignore. Sometimes there are files consisting your passwords, or sometimes there are extra files or dependencies that you don't want to push on your repository, or you don't want the Git to handle, then you can put them in .gitignore file. So choose which files not to track from the list of templates. You can learn more about it by clicking here and then going to documentation. So you can see it says you can create a gitignore file in your repository to tell which files and directories to ignore when you make a commit. I'll be explaining you what is a commit, what is a push, what is pull, everything in this hands-on, so no problem. Now that everything is ready, let's click on create repository. Once this repository is created, it will be completely empty. So if you see, this repository is completely empty, no code at all, and you have some instructions to start working on it. So I'm going to use this instructions to set it up in my local machine, and then we have some commands here. Let's understand that and try to use it. So right now we have a new repository created, so I'm going to use this commands. So I'm going to go to my you can open your VS Code if you have VS Code. If not, you should install it, or else I can run these commands in my terminal as well. So I'm going to open my terminal here, maximize it, and then copy this. This is creating a readme.md file in my local machine. So I'm going to run this command, which is going to create a readme.md. To make things simple, let me create a repo. So I'm going to create a repo saying learn git. Alright, let's go inside this repo and start running the commands. Okay, so I'm inside the learn git repo, and I'm going to run this command, which is going to create a readme.md. Right now, if I show you, there's no file created, but after I run this command, it will start creating a file. So a file will be there, which is not in my GitHub repository, but is in my local machine. So you can see there is a file named as readme.md. Let's open this in a VS Code. So I'm going to say code dot, which will open this file in VS Code. Alright, now I can start managing my things. So I have a file named as readme.md inside this directory. After I run that, I can run the next command, which is to git init. This command is to initialize a Git repository. For example, if you see right now, if I do ls-la, there are no files apart from readme.md. But if you want to work with Git, there has to be a folder named as .git, which has all the information to work. So if I do anything here, it will not work because Git is not initialized. So I need to do git init. Once I do git init, it says initialize empty Git repository in this path. And if I do ls-la now, you will see there's a folder named as .git, which is very important for you to have if you want to work and run the Git commands. So after I initialize it, I'm going to say git add. What is this command? Git add readme. Right now, this readme.md file is in my local machine, but not in my Git repository. So if I want to push this, I need to first add it in staging area. This might be confusing, but if you watch this completely, you will have a good understanding of how to push your things. So whenever you want to push your things, you need to say git add first. So right now, I have only one file which is present in my local, but not in my remote repository. So I need to say git add and the name of the file, which is readme.md here. So once I do this and I do git status, I'll be able to see that there is one file which is ready to be committed, but hasn't been committed. So first you need to say git add and then git commit. So git commit -m to say what is this commit about. And if you see here, it says my first commit. You can either say first commit or initial commit or anything. So I'm going to say initial commit and then press enter. Now the commit has been made, and it has, after the commit you need to push it. So git add, git commit and git push is how you can push your code from your local machine to repository. If I do git push now, I need to say git push -u origin and the name of the branch. But what is the name of the branch? So if you want to check which branch are you on, you need to say git branch. Once you do this, it says you're on master branch. So right now I want to push things on my master branch. So I can say git push -u origin and then master. What is this origin and why are we using it here? To understand that, let me show you what repository are we connected to right now. So if I do git remote -v, this is the command to check which repository are you going to push or are you going to pull from. So when I do git remote -v, I see there is nothing here, right? Which means I will not be able to push. My terminal does not know which repository to push on. This is why you need to use this command, git remote add origin and then the URL of this particular repository, which is learning git. So once I do this, I'll set remote to this repository, which means I'm going to push and pull to that repository. Once I do git remote -v, you can see now I have an option here, and this is the origin. So to push things, I'm going to say git push -u origin and the name of the branch, which is master here. After I press enter, it will start pushing, and now if I refresh, you should be able to see that a full file has been added, which is an initial commit 1 minute ago. Right, this is how you can push things. Let's try one more thing. Right now this is my first version of my application. Let's create another file, make it app.py, and let's say print this is my second version. So using Git, you can manage different version of your application, and if you think you can also revert your commit and go back to the previous version. Right now if you see there's a U here, which means untracked file. Git hasn't tracked it, you have made a change, you have modified something, but there's no track of it. So to see now that we added a file, which is not there in our repository, how do we push it? So remember, git add, git commit, git push. These are the 3 steps. But now if I want to see what is the change made here, I can run git status command. This command will tell me, this command is telling me that you're on the master branch, and then you have a file created which is app.py, which hasn't been tracked. So to track it, you need to run the command git add and the name of the file. So I can say git add name of the file, which is app.py, but I can also say git add dot, which means track all the files present in this current folder which hasn't been tracked yet. So when I do git add dot, it will put the app.py in the staging area. What do you mean by staging area? Let me help you understand that. So if I show you the Git workflow, if you look at this diagram here, this is our local machine, this is our remote repository. Whenever I want to push some things from my local machine to repository, I need to first say git add. When I do git add, it is going to be tracked and put in the staging area. After it is in staging area, I can do git commit to put it in local repo, and then git push to put it in on GitHub repository. This is what we are doing. So git add, git commit, git push. Now we have this file created, which is not in our GitHub repository. So I can say git add dot, and now if I do git status, you will see the change in the status now. So once I do git status, it says your branch is up to date and changes has to be committed. So you have the color have been changed from red to green, which means you have added the file in staging area. You can do git commit and -m to say what you have made. So I can say add app.py. Once I do this, I can press enter, which means I have created a commit. Let's try to push it. So the push command is git push -u origin and the name of the branch, which is master. Once I press enter, this file app.py, so you can see the U has been gone, which means it is tracked and it has been pushed. I can confirm by going to my repository. So right now it says readme.md, only one file, but if I refresh, I should be able to see 2 files. So this is a new file which has been added. This is the commit message, and you can see this is the commit number here, and it has been pushed now. There are 2 commits in total. I can see all the different commits and what change has been made. So if I show you here, this says green in color, which means this thing has been added. If I try to edit something, if I try to make it, this is my 3rd version, and save this file, now you can see this says uncommitted change, or it has been modified. M stands for modified, right? So now the thing has been modified. If I want to push this modified change on GitHub, I can do the same thing, git add dot, then git commit -m, which is modify the file, so modify app.py, and then once I do this, I'm going to say git push -u origin and the name of the branch, which is master. Once I run this, it will show me a new commit. So let's go back and refresh this page. You will see a new commit appearing here, which is modify app.py. So Git is able to keep different versions, and you can see the commit message here, and you can see what change has been made. So the changes, earlier it was 2nd, now it is 3rd version. This is how you will be pushing. And if I show you the different branches I have in my particular repo, so right now I only have 1 branch, and whenever you work in a company, you should never ever push your things in a master branch. You should always create your own branch and push things on it, because usually on the master branch you have CI/CD enabled, and if you make changes here, it can be directly applied on your production, which can break your production or bring it down. So you should always create a new branch and then merge the changes if everything is okay. Let me show you how you will be doing that. Right now if I show you, if I run git branch command to check which branch am I on, I can see there's a master branch I'm working on. So let's create a branch for ourselves. To create a new branch, you will be saying git branch and the name of the branch. So let's say Cloudchamp. Once I do this, it is going to create a branch, but it has not changed it. If I do git branch, it is still using the master branch. If you want to switch a branch from one branch to another, you need to use git checkout command. So git checkout and then name of the branch, which is Cloudchamp. Once I do this, it has switched my branch from master to Cloudchamp, and you can confirm that by running git branch. Once you create a branch, it will not be shown on your GitHub unless you push your things there. So let's try to make a change. So let's say this is my 4th version in Cloudchamp branch. Right now, I want this thing to be pushed in my GitHub. You see, it is modified. I want this to be pushed in my GitHub in my own branch, not in the master branch. So I'm going to say git add, same as I did for master branch. So git add dot, which will add this in the staging area. So git status will say that this has been modified and added in the staging area, which has to be committed. So I'm going to say git commit -m and put the message in double quotes. So it can be anything, any message. Let's say add app.py in Cloudchamp branch. Once I do this and press enter, it will be committed. Let's push it. So to push, you need to run the same command but change the branch name. So earlier I was using git push -u origin master, but now I'm going to say git push -u origin Cloudchamp to push that particular thing in a particular branch, which is Cloudchamp here. Once I press enter, you can see it starts pushing, and then it has pushed it. Let's try to refresh, and you can see this message appeared here. It says Cloudchamp has recent pushes less than a minute ago, which means if I refresh the page, I should see 2 branches rather than 1. So you can see it says 2 branches. The first branch is master, second is Cloudchamp. So in the master branch, there is nothing. It's the same as it was earlier, which is this is my 3rd version. But if I show you the same file in Cloudchamp, it will have a different version, which means you can work on features and bugs on your different branches without affecting the main branch or the master branch. So this is the change in the Cloudchamp. You can see it says this is my 4th version in Cloudchamp branch. If I want these things to be replicated in the main branch or in the master branch, I need to merge it. And how do you do that? So the best proper way is to create a pull request. So you can see there's a pull request option here. You can click on compare and pull request. Let me give you a scenario. Let's say you are working as a DevOps engineer or a developer, and someone asked you to make a change in the repository and push it. So you will create a branch, same as we did here, by running git branch command. Git branch, name of the branch to create a new branch, then git checkout to switch to your branch, make the change, push it, and then create a pull request like this. So you can define what you made. So this is the change made for 4th version. Please review and merge. So once you do this, please review and merge. Once you do this, you can click on create pull request, and you can also see the things and the changes made. So the change is this. In the main or the master you have this, but in Cloudchamp you have this. So you can compare, and then after you create this pull request, you can give this to anyone who can approve it. So you have to copy this link and share it to person who can review it. So once everything is reviewed, let's say your manager has reviewed and everything is okay, you can then click on merge pull request. Once I click on merge pull request, everything in the Cloudchamp branch will be transferred to the main branch, or will be merged inside the main branch. So I can either do this from here, or I can run the command which is git merge. Let me show you that. So if I show you, this is the command, which means join 2 or more development histories together. You can do it through the UI, which is more easy. So once I click on merge pull request, I can then click on confirm merge, and now if you see, merge has been done into the master from the Cloudchamp. So let me show you the master branch now. Inside master branch, you can see the change has been shown, and this is master branch. This is how you will be creating pull request to make sure your changes are created and merged properly without affecting any master branch. This is very, very, very crucial. So you need to understand how to create pull request and how to merge them properly. You will not be merging them in your company. Maybe your senior managers or your senior DevOps engineers will be doing it, but this is a proper way of how you can create a change without affecting the main or the master branch. And you need to understand this because this is very, very, very important. All right. So now that we have merged our pull request, you can learn more about pull request here. And the difference between pull request and merge request is nothing. They both are the same thing. Just in GitHub, if you create a pull request, if you create a request, it is a pull request. If you use GitLab, same thing is called as merge request in GitLab. So both of the terms are different, but actually do the same thing. So whenever you want to merge your particular branch into the main, you can either create pull request in GitHub or you can create merge request in GitLab. So they both do the same thing, but the names are different. So pull request lets you tell others about changes you have pushed to the branch in the repository. So you can create it to just merge your branch from your branch to the main branch. This is what pull request actually is. we have understood how to create a file and then git add, git commit, git push to have that file from your local machine into your remote repository. Let's try to get this code on some other machine. So I'm going to go to my AWS dashboard to show you how you can get the code from your GitHub repository to your local machine. So we have now understood how to push your code from your local machine to GitHub repositories, but how can you clone your code in different machine? Let's say a developer has made some change and you as a DevOps engineer have to get the code in your server or on your local machine. So to test that out, I'm going to get the code from here into my EC2 instance. This is my EC2 instance, which is all fresh, so I don't have any files inside it, no folders. Let me see if Git is installed or not. So I'm going to maximize the screen and type Git. If I press Git and get all these commands, which means Git is installed. If it is not installed for you, you can just do sudo apt install git-y. This is Ubuntu, so I'm using apt. If it was something else, I would have used different. But it says Git is already newest version, so I can start working with Git. So for you to get the code from your repository to your local machine, so the code is present here. I want this code in my server here. So how can I do this? To get the code, click on this option here and you can choose on clone. So cloning the means getting the code to your server. So there are three options for you. You can either use HTTPS, SSH or GitHub CLI. HTTPS, it requires you to have password and username if it is a private repository. If it is a public one, you don't require that. SSH will require you to add the SSH key, and then you have GitHub CLI, which we are not going to use. So let's use the HTTPS option, and this is a public repository, so I don't need to do anything. To get the code, you need to run the command git clone and paste what you copied, which is the link. So once I press enter, it will start cloning. And now if I do ls, I should see a folder. I should see a folder named as learning git, which should have all the files. So if I do ls, you can see there's a folder named as learning git. Let's see what is inside it. If I do ls, I can see the file, which is readme.md and app.py. This is how you can get the code. And let me show you some other example. Let's try to clone some other repository. Let's say Kubernetes. So I'm going to say Kubernetes GitHub. And if you were to work on open source project and you want to make some change, let's say you want to contribute to Kubernetes, how can you do it? You can get the code first in your local machine. So you can see this is how people are contributing to it. People are going to, so this is TYDC, the user. He has made some change in the Kubernetes code and then created a pull request. So someone from the Kubernetes team is going to either review it, so you can see they have added a comment. So if they make the change, this can be approved and then merged in the main repository, which means you can become a contributor doing that. So how can I get this code? Same way, I'm going to click on code option here. So let's click on code option here, copy the link, which is HTTPS link. So I'm going to copy this and I can either paste it here or in my local machine, wherever I want to get the code. So I'm going to say git clone and then copy this. Once I do this, it will start cloning. So you can see cloning into Kubernetes, and after some time, so this is a huge code. That is why it's going to take some time. So there are so many files here. It's going to clone all of them, and then you can start working and contributing to it, and then create a pull request to let someone accept it, and then you can become a Kubernetes contributor. And this is how we do open source projects. You cannot do open source projects without learning Git, without learning how to make changes and push to it. Always make sure when you push your changes, you don't do it on master. You can create different branches. As you can see here, there are different branches for different releases, and people also create and make changes on their own particular branches. They don't do it on master branch. So if you see here, this guy has made some changes. So if I click on this, so this guy has made some changes in his particular branch and he wants it to be merged in the master branch. Once this is merged, then he can become a contributor to Kubernetes. So always make your changes on your own branch, and then if someone approves, they will merge it in the master branch. So now this is still cloning. You can see it's still cloning here. Once it is cloned, I will get all the data in my local machine, and then I can push it to GitHub, create pull request, all that stuff. I hope now you have understood how to push your code from your local machine by running git add, git commit and git push. So this is the workflow. Whenever you want to push to GitHub repositories, you do git add, git commit, git push, and it is there. If you want to get something from your code, you can do just git pull, and then it will be updated. Let's say developer has made some change, and then you also made some change. So if you want to get your changes, you can just do git pull and we'll get all the updated changes. So now Kubernetes repository has been cloned properly. If I do ls here, you should see there's another folder named as Kubernetes, and if I go inside this folder, you can see all the different files that are present, which are same as what you have on the repository on the GitHub. So all these files in the master branch are present in here. Let's try to make some changes and push it from our server to GitHub. So I'm going to go inside my particular directory, which is here. Right now I am on master branch. I can git checkout to use the Cloudchamp branch. Git checkout is a command to switch your branches. So I can do git checkout and then name of the branch, which is Cloudchamp. Once I do this, it has been changed. So if I do git branch now, you can see this has changed. Let's say you want to create a branch and then switch to it both in one command. You can do git checkout -b and the name of the branch. Let's say EC2 branch. and this will create a new branch along with and also switch to it. So I'm going to say EC2 branch, press enter. So it says switch to a new branch. If I do git branch command, I will be switched to EC2 branch. Let's try to make some change. Let's add a new file and make it my file.txt something. Right? So I'm going to say this is my new file. Please push it to Git from EC2. This can be anything. It can be a code file, it can be a Terraform script, it can be Ansible playbook, anything. But the process will be the same. You need to git add, git commit, git push. If you are doing it for the first time, you will also need to use the git config command. What is the git config command? If I show you, so using git config command, you can set your username and email. Right now, I'm just pushing the file for the first time. So let's see what is the status here. When I do git status, it says there's a new file which is created but not tracked and not committed yet. So I'm going to say git add and then the dot or the name of the file. So I'm going to say dot, and then if I do git status now, you can see the file has been added in the staging area. Let's commit it. Once I do git commit, I'm going to get, let's say, add text file. This is the commit message, press enter, and you get this error saying git config is not there. So your name and email address were configured automatically based on your username and host name. Please check that they are accurate. So whenever you make a commit, you get to see something here. So if I show you the 2 comments that I made till now, so these are the comments. Let's click on 5 comments here. So when I make the comment, it defines who has made the comment. So here I'm saying nasi.c has made the comment, which is my username. So if I want this to be appearing correctly, I need to change that using the git config command. You need to do that by using git config -- global user.name or user.email to set the things. If I don't do that and directly push it, you will see what happened. So git push -u origin and then EC2 branch. Once I do this, it says, let me check the git remote repository if everything is connected. So this is properly. Okay, I didn't enter the git origin correctly. I'm going to say git push -u origin and then the name of the branch is EC2 branch. Once I do this without configuring my username, it's going to ask me for that here. So I'm going to say nasi.c and then the password. I don't know the password. So if you're stuck here, it does not accept password here. So you need to go to your GitHub to create a personal access token, which I've already defined in my video. So you can check out this video on how you can create personal access token by going in the developer settings and creating a personal access token to fetch it. So let me do that real quick for you to show it here. So I'm going to click on generate new token. I need to enter the password. So this is my password. Now I'm going to say git tutorial. I want to have access for repo, also workflow. I'm not using actually workflow, but it's okay. I'm going to add all these access here, which should be okay and enough. I'm going to click on create. Once I click on generate token, I get a token which can be used instead of password. So I can use this to push and pull things. So I'm going to paste this here and press enter. It says starting to push. Once it pushes it, I should be able to see it in my repository. So I should see a file named as something.txt, my file.txt in my repo. So let's see that. So in the repo there are 3 branches now. You can see there's EC2 branch. EC2 branch has something which is not there in the main, so I can create a pull request and then merge it in the main branch. So there is this file which is new, and this is how you can do it. Let's say you want to set your username and password. How will be you doing that? So if it is your first time working Git in your machine, you need to run this command, which is git config -global. So if you go through this, you can see the same thing is here. So global user dot name, you put your username. So my username is nasi.c, and then if you want to set your email address, you need to do the same thing, but now with email ID. So my email is cloudchamp44@gmail.com, and then this should be done. So next time whenever I push it, I should be able to see my name and this email in the comment. So if I show you in this comment, it says Ubuntu, not my name. So people will not able to know who made the comment or who has made the change. Now if I made the change, I should be able to see nasi.c rather than Ubuntu. So let's try to do that. I'm going to say ls. Let's try to make some change in the file.txt. Let's rename the file. So I'm going to mv my file.txt to my file.txt with a single t. Once I do that and I do git status, it should show me that there's a change made, which is the name of the file has been changed. And then I can do git add dot to put this in staging area, git commit -m to define what is this commit about. So I'm going to say name changed, and then I'm going to say git push -u origin and the branch which I want to push. So I'm going to push this on EC2 branch. So I'm going to do that and then put the username again one more time. Okay, now it has been pushed. Let's see the new commit. So once I refresh this, it will add the commit in the EC2 branch. So you see now this time this has entered my name because I set it using git config command. This is how you will be using git config command. I hope you have everything is cleared. If you have any questions, any doubt till now, you can let me know. If you understood this and you want me to create a tutorial on more complex things, explaining you about Git rebase, Git stash, all that different commands, you can let me know in the comment section. But to help you out, I've already posted a few things. I've already posted a resource for you on LinkedIn. So if you're not connected with me on LinkedIn, please do so, because I share things and resources on my LinkedIn. So if you see here, I've uploaded a Git checkbook yesterday, which explains everything about different situations you can face when working with Git. So if you work with Git and you want to clone a project, start going through. So you can see all the hands-on details are present here. This is for cloning. I've cloned the repo, but I'm not able to see the proper code. You can do status. So depending on the situation, you have all these answers with screenshots. So you can go through this document, which can help you understand and work with Git if you are facing any issues. Along with this, if you want to practice what you have learned today, you can go to a game. You can access the game. The link is going to be in the description, or you can just say Git game. Once you do this, these are two different games you can use to learn about Git. So if you see here, you can understand and learn about Git. So here is introduction to Git commits, detach your head, all this advanced topics starting from the basics here. So you can learn about what is a commit. A commit in the Git repository records a SAM start, and you can start doing that by running the commands and understanding and reading about things. This is how you can do it. So I would recommend you practicing your Git knowledge, because it is very important. You can also use the other URL, which is ohmygit, and this is also one of the Git game to learn about how you can use Git properly. If you have any questions, any doubt, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you and have a good day.